Welcome back everyone to Data Science for Everyone. Today we're going to be talking about leveraging JSX to enhance web interfaces. Let's get started. So today we're going to be really talking about JSX, or for what its lengthy name is called is JavaScript XML. Now this stands at the intersection of markup and logic, and it empowers developers to craft up interfaces within the React framework. Now we're going to explore the significance of JSX and how it streamlines web development processes, and it enhances component modularity and kind of driving just very efficient project outcomes. So we're going to shift, and this is just kind of this discussion at a whole, is we're going to shift towards an integrated development environment. Okay, and so that's basically the evolution that has happened here of web technologies, where HTML, CSS, and JavaScript were kind of developed in isolation from each other. Now, what we're doing now is where React and JSX kind of work together, okay? They've kind of adopted one another, so to speak. Now, the syntax for JSX is very simple, and it simplifies development quite a bit. Now, it uses this syntactical sugar, and it makes code more readable, but also enables developers to visualize and relate UI structure to its behavior. So let's actually go on and make up a real quick HTML here, and we're going to stick with our Bob Ross profile, and let's actually make this Bob Ross's to-do list. Okay, so we're going to go on and make an image here, and the SRC is the one that I had from the previous video, and that is this long thing right here. Again, you guys can put in any picture JPEG that you feel like. I just thought that this was maybe a little bit more fun. And so let's also add in, so we have, whoops, I put that in the wrong one. I put this in the alt. And that's in our SRC. Our alt here is Bob Ross painting a picture. And then we also need to give it a class here, and we're going to call this the photo. All right, so then the next thing we would want is an unordered list, and we would have in our elements. So we want, maybe he wants to paint a mountain landscape. Okay, then maybe he wants to host a painting workshop. And then maybe he also wants to develop a new painting technique. Okay. All right, so he has this. Now, what if we wanted to put this into an app? Okay, so we want to integrate React component using JSX. Well, the one thing is we're very tempted to just do something like function here, and let's say this is a to-do list. All right, and have a return here. And we're very, very tempted to just copy and paste this into here. Now you can see it kind of highlights all in red here. It's giving us a warning that something is definitely going to go wrong, but just to kind of prove a point here, in case you don't have this syntax highlighting here, and I misspelled mountain. There, we can do npm start here, and I'll show you what the error would look like. All right, so here we can see here definitely module build failed. It has all kinds of issues that are kind of coming up. There's a parsing error. Adjacent JSX elements must be wrapped in an enclosing tag. Did you want to use this as a JSX fragment? So we could, in turn, do this. We could go up here and look here at, whoops. If we click here, it says wrap in a JSX fragment. So I can go on and wrap this in a JSX fragment. And it has an error here because it actually didn't wrap the whole thing quite properly. Here, let's undo this real quick and see what the issue was here. It needs to actually do the whole thing. So let's see, did this actually work here? Okay, well, it still says errors. It has some compiling. Notice it still didn't quite do what we wanted it to do. So here, technically, needs to be down here. Okay, and it still has a bunch of errors, all right? So it's not quite doing what we would expect it to do. So I personally don't like going through and using the auto correction features in here. I would much prefer to kind of do things on my own just to make sure. So I'm going to undo the pasting that we had, okay? And I'm going to go on and create up in here my tag. Okay, so that's one of the first things that we would need to do. All right, and I'm going to go on and grab just a piece at a time. So I'm going to grab this whole section here, and I'm going to paste it inside there. Now, there is a, whoops, there is another little bit of an issue that we have to deal with here, okay? Because we don't need this. This needs to actually be a JSX system, okay? So this needs to go, and this needs to transform here, okay? So that's the first thing, and it still has a warning, but again, this is at least one part here. Now, the next thing that needs to happen is this class actually needs to be class name, okay? Is the next thing that needs to change in here. So we have an H1, okay? We have in our image, we have our SRC, and maybe we can make this look a little bit nicer. Now, to get this little yellow bit here to go away, I'm actually going to tell it to disable JSX ally image redundant for the entire file, just so that we can see things a little bit better. And if we go over here, we should have things just a little bit clearer. Now, look, we have Bob Ross's to-do list, and that's good, okay? Now, the next thing that we need to do is go on and bring over another, bring over the rest, okay? So I'm just gonna go on and cut this out. I'll go over here, and we're just going to just put it right down in here. Remember, make sure that it is inside of the tag. Okay, and notice now we don't have anything. I could have done this all in one go, but I wanted to just show you that this class name needed to change, and we needed just to kind of make sure everything was nice and kosher here. Notice now we have Bob Ross to-do list. We have all of this nice paint. Oh, and I still have that misspelled as mountain. So, all right. So now that's all cleaned up. We have a nice idea of what's going on here. So let's talk a little bit about the rules of JSX. So in ensuring syntactical correctness. So we have the single root element. All right, so JSX basically requires that the component returns a single root element. Now, this can be, I'll maybe do it over here. This could be just a single, oops, maybe you have something in here. Now, this can be the React fragments like this. So this here is a React fragment. All right. Now you could also use just a div. Okay. And again, you can do either one of these and they're going to be just fine. Now, here's the thing. Closing all tags. Now, unlike HTML, JSX enforces the explicit closing of all tags, okay? So self-closing tags must be used to enclose the syntax. So for example, here, all right, now we don't have this image dash, but notice here we make sure that there is a closing tag here. We could also use a full close tag as well. Now, also the next thing is attributes. Okay, so right here we have our camel case. Now, JSX adopts the camel case convention for most attributes. Now, this is basically aligning with JavaScript's naming conventions. Notably, the class here becomes our class cap name, okay, reflecting on the property in the DOM API. So what are the advantages actually of this for businesses? Well, this improves developer efficiency. So it also enhances UI consistency, and it allows for scalability and reusability. So the adoption of JSX within React development signifies a giant leap forward in integrating efficient web development practices. So for businesses, leveraging JSX is basically means to not only streamlining the development process, but also ensuring that web applications are dynamic and maintainable and user-friendly. If you guys like this and you want more of this content, please comment, subscribe, and hit that like button, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.